In fact, I meant to talk about the Advanced Group 1 in Asia, so let's do that. Advanced Group 1 won by the conclusion, I believe. Does one plays 70 or 35? One plays 36 in a 70-person tournament. And then 37, 38, 39, 40 play each other. This guy came second. Steelsane was third after losing in the quarterfinals. Zweilicht fourth and Flicks fifth. Congrats to you guys. That time. Ladies and gentlemen, start your sledgehammers. Good luck. Have fun. Don't forget to ready up. Our top seed is Zweilicht, and they are facing Sir Mike Tyson. That sounds fun. HD Susauer against Yakimaru could be good. Fresh Pro versus River Skende would be fun. Top seed Zweilicht, Sir Mike Tyson. Both of you guys need to ready up. Skip this. Unpredictable in the angles, the way Rat does it. Or unpredictable about whether or not you're going to attack. We'll come out playing stand. Taco does. Taco also all the angles. Mike tends to just try to overwhelm on one front. Theory, that should work. Practices. All right. Have near side in blue, Zweilicht, supply specialist, Steel Bull and Arclight. Mike Tyson, and they're coming out aggro as well. Look at that, right up on the front. Mike Tyson, a Rhino specialist with Storms and Fangs. I mean, in the hands of anybody else, I'm expecting this to be a Vulcan Phoenix defensive formation. And of course, Mike is coming out aggro with. Zweilicht, fourth place in the weekend tournament Asia this morning, which is why they are the #1 seed in this tournament today. And Sir Mike Tyson took second runner-up in Advanced Group 2 in the Mini Tournament Americas. Rugster says skip for 50 gold. Vulcan Phoenix is the old Vulcan Melter. But yeah, it also works at its place. So Mike's formation is tight enough. It doesn't bring something this far out to drag this corner. So opponent is going to get the tower really quickly with steel balls and crawlers. Mike's formation were a little bit wider. If you come out past the halfway mark, then you can extract all of the opponent's units into your front. It looks like it's going to be very unfortunate timing for Mike because storms have turned around and been eaten by crawlers. Storms in this aggressive positioning with nothing but fast units to shoot. Those are probably sellable, I would say. Expect Mike to be considering selling them. Obviously, opponent could just turn around and throw down a whole bunch of slow things away, slow you down, but a round is a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be. Zweilicht winning by a single Arclight. Mike Tyson's at 4,800. Zweilicht at 4,600. Good a round 2. Units available. Mobile Beacon could be helpful for the attacker, but they both go for the Wasp Swarm. They are both vulnerable to it defensively because of where they're positioned. Neither of them has anything back there protecting towers. Already see Mike is placing his aggressively on attacking side, where Zweilicht has no rear chaff. Zweilicht is also placing it aggressively. Mike's got a missile. Mike has 300 left to spend. Zweilicht didn't spend any of their quick supply monies on round 1. They have 550. This is one of the advantages to that approach, right? You save your 200 and then you can see what the formations and units are. What you want, where you want it. Mustangs on the back row. Completely shut this down. Missile on the other side in case that's where Wasp Swarm is. Wasp Swarm middle would be covered by this unless Mike was flanking as well. Or Mike spies. He's picked up a marksman on the very far side. So this marksman... Dark light here. So this marksman is so late in order to be engaged with the steel balls late when they come over. Like it's also going to, incidentally, take care of wasps. Have the back left corner get destroyed. Go to the automatic camera for the rest of the cast. Anything, and it'll zoom in, make things easier for you guys to see as it progresses. So Mike loses the second tower at pretty bad timing, lost the front. Down he goes. Mike down to 4118, Zweilach still at 4600. Round 3. Unit drop round with Vulcans and Overlords, your giants. Phoenix and Tarantula both available as well. I think the story of what we're seeing here is Mike is trying to push an aggro formation with a slow build. Like, there's nothing on the board that moves faster than 8 meters per second right now. Zweilach is just faster at getting the towers. Convert that into board position and convert that into damage dealt on towers. Now he's adding a Overlord above the attack. Obviously it gets targeted by the marksman. But also he can mobile beacon this across and away, right? And this whole group, follows it, right? I'll go the wrong direction. They come to the tower. Although, practice, that only works if these guys are fast enough. So these guys will actually outrun those fangs, and the fangs will even turn toward the tower. It's just going to press this whole formation. Help the Overlord splash damage. And Mike has picked up bought a Scorpion, picked up a Vulcan, and has them backing up main attack, which there's nothing for this Vulcan to be killing here. If he extend the line and have the Vulcan out here, maybe he pulls all of this junk down into the Vulcan, but he's not funneling anything into this Vulcan in early parts of this round. Watch how long it is before this Vulcan engages. What I'm talking about. There we go. Finally gotten engaged. And of course, he can level this tower, but leveling the tower doesn't help much against a steel ball. It just the amount of time it takes to destroy it. And steel balls and Overlord both have locked onto the Vulcan. Well, I guess the steel balls were locked on the Scorpion next to it. Now they get to the Vulcan. Goes down. Left with... Marksman is able to handle the Overlord. Mike Tyson gets round win first time. Drops the number 1 seed, Zweilach, 4350. Orbital Javelin available for both, but it was Tech Specialist and Steel Ball Production line. For Mike, I would love to see the Steel Ball Production line, actually, rather than Tech Specialist. Steel Ball Prod making 2 Steel Balls every 16 seconds, and those take a little while to kill. And they all... they're pretty good against single targets. They'd be good against opponents. Opponent Steel Balls. Oh, and of course we've got this huge clump of units that just orbital javelinable. Down goes the Vulcan, down goes the Scorpion. Mike was a Rhino specialist, but sold the Rhino rather than trying to take advantage of open spaces. Like, at least buy the mobile beacon for a round and run your Rhino in and over, you know? Take advantage. There's nothing around blocking some of these lines of attack. Or even out here, if you ran the same mobile beacon, you'd get straight in on tower with it. Right, 'cause this mobile beacon would be blocked by these crawlers. This one wouldn't. This one would be wide open with the exception of the... Take a few level 1 Mustangs and get the tower anyways. But Mike is not playing that game. Orbital Javelin, he's got a shield bubble up. Protect against something. Fire? I don't think there was fire, right? Corner flank from Twi'lek to try and get the near side tower, the left side tower. Got the right. Giants are already dead. Gonna get the left. Oh, that's a good question. Is it Illuminati playing against Tyson? I'll click through that in a moment. It is, yeah. The Twi'lek is Illuminati. Confirmed, nice call. Lightning Storm for Illuminati. Top seed. Tournament. No, it's scey, actually. Not Twi'lek. Or not Illuminati, it's scey. Click through the link. The scey near side. Got it. Atmison. That Lightning Storm is going to be brutal. It has also leveled up the crawlers to level 2. Gets some shields up in time to block the missile strikes. And he's picked the biggest targets, either the Mustangs or Storms. Storms, Mike didn't know that's their targets where this missile strike might go, but they would be if the Storm was up. Cover them as well, and make sure that the Mustangs are fighting from within the shield bubble for the duration of the storm. Also protects them against the missile strike. Mike did missile out that back corner. I think 2 or 3 crawlers survive. The formations that Mike runs are so vulnerable to nuke and storm and orbital bombardment. Everything is packed into the same location. The spells are just devastating. Round 5 exceptionally quick. Okay, still on 4350. Mike Tyson down to 743. And extreme clumping is just not working for Mike. He's got to out of this as a tactic. Reason modern battlefield doctrine is not throw down all of your units into the same spot, and Mike pays the price for it. I mean, the theory, the OG theory is achieve a local superiority and, you know, drive a wedge and that wedge in a winning piece. But, like, if you're looking at this is so predictable. Everything is in one spot. We debuff this tower. We do what we can to debuff the other tower. And, you know, we throw down any area of effect units. And we throw down any area of effect spells. We just punish him for being so tightly packed, you know? In other news is from around the matches. River got a W. Crawler spammed El Loco in 5 rounds. Mike does get his Wasps in the same corner. Wasps are going to lose might lose head-to-head. I don't know if this actually changes the breakpoint for Wasps, but scey's Wasps are better than Mike's Wasps by slight margins. Well, Mike's Wasps actually won this one. Now this was a good choice. The Wraith picking up all of the Mustang damage for a while, so it kept the Mustangs off of everything else. But he's gone with range rather than, say, armor or field. Right, if he armors that Wraith, that level 3 Wraith takes 0 damage from nothing else on the board. Right, there's 0 anti-air on the board other than the Mustangs. So Mike can throw down an armored Wraith and win this, but he doesn't even run armor on the bar, right? This is another spot where his techs could conceivably improve. You have the field maintenance possibility. Ah, you typed, yeah, you had the brain. Yeah, it's all right. I misnamed Scey for a moment, but Scey has beaten Mike Tyson in 6 rounds. Number 1 seed is through versus the number 46 seed. Still got 20 matches in progress, but a bunch of our favorites have won. Doxun, Apooche, HD Susauer, CrossFit, Play Archer, all getting W's. Jimmy Jeeb with a win. River Skende beat Fresh Pro. Reven over Dorgon has won. Getting through to round 2. Very nice. Always nice to see fellow casters doing well. JR Player did beat Mumbo Jumbo. Congrats there. Smooth Jazz over Capples. Diddy over El Loco. Sorry, Coin beat LMCV. Odyssey beat Siege. I was reading the next line. And Prince Boji beats Fort Build. Top the grid. Skip with the upset win over OnlyFangs. Nicely done. Close one. Steelsane wins. Gockel wins. Purse gets the W. Other matches. Bergenant, we saw beat Sugar Shane and Harry. What else had we not covered yet? Lord Kleinkariat does finally close it out against Camos. And Flix has defeated Reffen. At any rate, top group will be Scey, Steelsane, Doxun. Galaxy Ends in Fire is back. Galaxy Ending in Fire. Apooche, HD Susauer, Prince Boji, CrossFit, Lord Kleinkariat, and Play Archer are the top 10. And we get our round 2 matchups. Squish took a rookie group title. Will we give Squish a shout versus Stoney? Follow somebody new and upcoming, and then of course Stoney is well known, working on a tournament format. Hype for that, for sure. Also have something in the works, tournament-wise. And of course the Triple Threat Tricksters, which we'll remember from earlier this season, of the Triple Threat Tricksters tournament repeating. Registration for that is open through the 31st of August. Contact Codifly. Find it in the Mechabellum Guild. Yeah, get links posted here at some point. Cup of homemade cider increases your skills by 12%. It's a tower upgrade, right? Cider. Okay, Squish Nearside Blue had a Marksman Mustang start as supply specialist. Weekend Tournament European 67 Rookie Group Champion. Making the step up to the big leagues this week. Stoney, well-known streamer and caster on the far side, has a good YouTube channel. Fortified Specialist with Tarantula and Crawler. Tarantula and Fang bought the 2 crawlers behind. So Stoney comes out with the Tarantulas in standard formation. Puts them about where you would expect to see arc lights. And I've been running this formation as well and having some success with it. Basically just treat the Tarantula as a big arc light or small Vulcan. Use it in the same general area. It's got a little less range, does a little bit more damage. It'll walk out in front of things that Arclight wouldn't. I think you can see it here. It's protecting these Fangs from Mustangs in a way that an Arclight would have stayed back and let the Mustangs finish off. And get some decent positioning from it, and I'm just using it in the same position that I use Arclights has worked pretty well. Stoney wins round 1, takes 4,800 to Squish down at 4076. Of course, channel point. We get reinforcement packs on round 2. Steel Ball, Wraith, Wasp, and Arclight all available. Obviously, Stoney is not going to take Wasps into this pack of Mustangs. Squish, seeing no Mustangs, takes the pack of Wasps. Predictable. Stoney took the triple Arclight and has ranged them. That is interesting. So I'm going to have 3 arcs with range. Sold a Tarantula to be able to afford a Fang. Guessing to try and cover against the Wasp incursion. So he actually read this play almost correctly. Gets Fangs behind a tower in a position that would have screened against it. Guessed wrong as to which side. One thing to notice about that, a lot of players do subconsciously favor their right side, so Stoney put the Fangs on the right. The pack came from Squish's right. That is one of the things I noticed about Mike Tyson back in the day that prompted him to switch to randomizing, and prompted me to switch to randomizing. Lots of folks do that. Also, if there is a strong side or a weak side elsewhere, but both flanks are open, people tend to attack the weak side for some reason. And be just as effective to attack the strong side. Tendencies are handy to know and be watching for. You can always use a random number generator like a six-sided die at 20. Surely a gamer like you have. Squish does win round 2. Drops Stoney to 4581. Tech Specialist and Nano Repair Kit offered. Squish took the Nano Repair Kit, which is going to suit a Giant later, and in fact unlocks a Vulcan right away. But takes, woof. Had the monies available to take Vulcan and 2 more marksmen. Oh, big monies. Big monies. Puts the Nano Repair on the Vulcan. Now, Stoney took, despite already having techs, took the Tech Specialist. So, long term, that's going to be good economic value. Short term, he was down a deploy from previously. Taken the pair of Mustangs, one on the outside of this tower to cover, one in the middle. Relying on these guys to cover this flank for now. Squish, having used those level 3 or level 2 Wasps on round 2 to win the round, spells out, basically knows they're going to be hard count. No ways. Stoney eventually split the Mustangs onto both sides. Get more of a balanced formation. He's protecting both flanks. He knows there's no Wasp call in this round, so they're staying between. Make sure he was covering the flank. But this is sweet work from Squish, right? Like, you can almost predict the Mustangs as the answer to the Wasps. So he showed the Wasp threat, baits the Mustangs, drops the Vulcan, and just easy win on the Vulcan side. Vulcan is going to clean everything else up. With Nano Repair, there was basically no single target on the board for Stoney. There's a couple level 1 marksmen, but they just aren't enough to get through the Vulcan. And none of them, they didn't all 4 lock on the Vulcan at the same time. Mass-produced Wasp, improved Sandworm, Incendiary, and extended range War Factory all up. Squish takes the Incendiary. Rather expect Stoney is debating between Incendiary and Skip. For Squish, it was pretty clear and easy. I'm just going to take that, drop it where it'll clean up some Mustangs and other chaff. I'm sure you need to put it at this angle. Stoney, it looks like, skips it to take a Melter with range. I'm going to try to get the Melter with range locked onto that Vulcan. And I am seeing 2 new crawlers and 1 more marksman. Where's the new marksman? Yeah, I just lost a marksman last round, so it's 2 new crawlers. Squish. Now, note that the Vulcan and Mustang have the same range at 95 meters, so because of Stoney's position, this guy will get the lock this round, right? But it is plausible for Squish to hit the range button on the Vulcan and have all of those Mustangs get out in front and protect the Vulcan by using Mustang's chaff. Right now, though, these ranged Darklights at 133 meters or whatever, ranged Melter at 155, those will clean up the Mustangs. So he needs a way to get through and in on things off the back line. Squish loses round 4. Stoney is at 40.81, Squish down to 34.76. The level available on the Nano Repair Vulcan. We get a unit drop already. Fire Badgers, Wraith, Overlord, Scorpion. Scorpion for Squish. Yeah, it looks like he took it and sold it really quick. Go range and level on his Vulcan. That's exactly what I'm talking about. These Mustangs now are going to get out and beat chaff. Of course, Stoney with the ranged Arclights, I think it's going to handle it. Ranges and EMPs. The Marksman. Double tech on the Marksman, has 200 left. The pair of Fangs, which can probably go right in front of the Vulcans, sure. And he's putting them, instead of doing vertical, he's got them horizontal. This is fine, this is as deep as he can possibly have them, so they don't just walk right into the arc lights. Want the crawlers to get out in front of them, have the Fang a bit later. For Stoney, ranged Wraiths right away. We've already seen Stoney's tech layout on Wraiths earlier. Stoney has kind of made this into a bit of a range war with ranged Darks, ranged Melter, ranged Wraith. Has Melter on both sides. And well positioned to eventually get the locks on the Vulcans as well. And despite you can try nano repairing, you don't really get to nano repair through a melting point's damage. Even if we shut them down, marksmen aren't going to have enough single shot damage to get through here. It only has 2 surviving melters, and Squish is down to 26.76. Welcome to the big leagues. Need a solution for this. Both players take the steel ball production line and go on the left for Squish. Got levels for 3-4 of the marksmen. That is going to help a bunch against the melters if Stoney doesn't level them. Does level one of them. And Scorching Flames, the other tech on the Vulcan for Squish. He's got 550 left. Stoney looks like he's floating 550. What did we do for our buy? The 2 new Fangs out, 1 Fang outside. What am I missing? Used to deploy. This Fang. Oh, this Fang had been missing for a long time. Okay. We have a late arriving Fang, an outside Fang. Again, this outside Fang we've talked about why that exists. Cutting off certain angles for rhinos, and I think it was actually a triple recruit of Fang. Reven says, wait, I haven't played a tourney in forever. I forgot how confusing it is to play against the 1K MMR people. Right? When they're running something you don't see every day. We love to complain about how predictable the game is at a high MMR. All you have to do is play somebody low MMR. The Squish added a pair of Stormcallers, and that is able to turn the tide right now. Now, Storms used to be the answer to Melter. Squish is in it. Gets the ER Vulcan card. Okay, Buddy, you're losing to melting points. The 35% hit point doesn't matter, but the range does. Oh. Round 2, he had a photon crawler all the way at his back wall. Yeah. Making sure that you don't do extra damage to it with your call-ins. It's important. Okay. Squish did not take ER Vulcan. Stoney did. Stoney's got ER Vulcan both sides. Only thing is, at this point, Stoney's got 3 different chaff clear solutions, but, you know. For Squish, it's 2 more storms and takes range on them. Vulcans do still outrange Stoney by 5 after temp range from tower. Now they outrange them by 20 after he takes temp. Both players have some oil dropping. Squish has some shields up. And the oils ignite all the chaff. Both players, pretty much. I mean, Squish is not doing badly here. This board is working for him. EMP delivery from the marksman at range. Key tech right now. For Squish, it's turning off whatever is in the lead and forcing Stoney's range war builds to turn into a walk close and die build. Stoney takes mass-produced Wasp to try and shut that off. Even though there are Mustangs on the board right now. Hasn't ranged them, they're coming out front and dying. Arc Light's pretty early. And well, both players are playing some fire right now. Got Incendiary Bomb choice for Stoney's ER Vulcans. Squish has taken... drops the Incendiary that he already had, drops oil on the other side. So not playing the connect them games, playing the... I'm going to put them in the correct places. Stoney teched a Missile Interceptor on the Mustangs, but bought 3 Wasps with range. Mass-produced Wasps are really cheap. I think the idea is keep them alive into the late game where the Mustangs will have already died. Sure, it's going to work. But if you can get to the point where the marksmen are wasting single shots on Wasps instead of getting those key EMP shots on Melters, it'll be big. Squish! Welcome, welcome. First time chatter, and congratulations on your Ricky Group Championship. That is huge. Playing this really well. This is a really solid game. Very nicely done. Or even the ER Vulcan arrives very late in this game. So ER Vulcan post-dated the Melters. So Squish beats Stoney. Nicely done. Been no-lifing it ever since I got it a few weeks ago. Well, the grind is showing up to 1800 MMR. Has a gold badge at the moment. And gets the W here. Vulcan's strong, but you've got a really solid formation. Like, just kind of talking it through. You've got your flank screen. You've got a flank screen for air. You've got your, shotgun here. You have your long-range single target. You've got your storms. You've got your chaff clear. You didn't like one of the key things I see from more junior players. One of the key mistakes is teching into 7 different units with 1 tech on each of them, because of the way that techs get more progressively expensive. You don't do that. You committed to techs on 3 units, and those 3 units are the ones you bought 4 or more of. If you needed this to go longer, you need your chaff to live a little longer, you could consider Subterranean Blitz, like if there had been another round. But, yeah, range on the collars was interesting, but, not, Stoney was trying to win a range war, right? So, outranging, making sure that these didn't wander in front of anything, and outranging is not horrible in my opinion. But yeah, I agree. It's the one that I wouldn't have chosen out of all of these. But yeah, it's really solid. And one of the key things, you had enough, just enough to handle the wasps. Handling late wasps like this, by the way, is why a lot of the top line level players will have these late fangs behind a tower. You could add that to your repertoire as something you're buying late, mid to late game. Twi'lek beats Mario, Doxun over Elzen, Apooche, Lido Reteris with the upset win over Prince Boji. Prince Boji is Woot. Oh my goodness. So Woot goes down to an unknown. Very nice. Congrats, Lido. That's a huge scalp and obviously a very close game. D-Unit beats Lord Clencariat, another big win. By Highlander Law, Squish is the new hero. Exactly. Coin over Happening and Diddy over Real Slow. You've got Cursed beat Wondering Eyes. Again, in round 2, you really expect to see the favorites winning. So Flicks, Smooth Jazz, Odyssey, they're all pretty heavy favorites in these matches. Skip gets to 2-0 by beating Gokkel. Alsari beat Rivruskende, Squish over Stoney, and Douchebag beat Jerplayer. So that... Wait a minute. That looks like a... didn't ready up to me. Or ready... No, because they have a hit point total. It's readied up and what? Abandoned? Disconnected? Something happened to Jerplayer here. I'm going to guess disconnect. We've still got Dabla and Ferganant going, so I'll jump into that match in a moment. Reven beat Darwin. Too Smart, Voice Smart beat Jimmy Jeeb. Play Archer, CrossFit, HD Susauer, and Eeyore. Galaxy Ends in Fire all get W's. Skip versus Ferganant would be a good win. Steelsane against Baller. CrossFit against HD Susauer. Let's go. Subs and bits are always well. Welcome to round 3 of Weekend Tournament European at number 68, where Squish is already 3-0 because Cursed is a high-level MMR player and skipped the readying up, never accepted the match. Squished. Cursed is somebody that has my number on ladder. For whatever reason, there are certain players you just don't match up against. First is one that I do not handle well. Alright, near side, you've got Baller playing under the name Diddy, with a Marksman Specialist, Steel Ball, and Arclight start. Looks like he's going to do the aggro formation, so on one side it's Steel Balls in front of Crawlers, and on the other it's Crawlers in front of Steel Balls, so you get kind of an overlap of your chaff and your single target. Let's go with winning a tourney. I think it's slightly... Well, 1900 is probably easier than winning a tourney. Going 7-0 is really tough. Steelsane on the far side, the Russian player, is a fortified specialist whose particular strengths have included getting the most out of sledgehammers and playing defense. I'm sure he was happy to see Baller come out in aggro, even if it's better in this individual first round. Steelsane loves to play defense, loves handling aggro. And Diddy comes so close to leveling the steel balls. Getting a level into those steel balls on round 1 would have been huge. He comes out about 60 experience points short. Get the unit drops. Scorpion for handling steel balls. Steelsane, and it's obviously going to go right in front. Unit, there will probably be a Fang here to add some break. Add a speed bump to my expectation. Yeah, the speed bump Fang and another pack of sledges outside. As it turns out, the sledges are pretty wise, because he is putting down a pair of crawlers. Crawlers do draw the scorpions the wrong direction, so all of this got pulled. Really nice pull there. Of course, it's also pulled these steel balls down after them. Eventually, the scorpion gets to engage on the crawler. And a single crawler. Yes, this is the best scorpion shot ever. Meanwhile, Baller is winning the rest of the front by virtue of having added a saber tooth. Saber is just more than pretty much anything on the board can handle until it reaches Scorpion. Scorpion is good. Orange Man takes care of Scorpion. Leaves Baller barely winning round 2. Drops Steelsane to 3,600. Steelsane has 7 weekend tournaments to his title. Most recent action was coming runner-up in the Asia Mini. I believe it's 3 European, 2 Asia, and 2 Americas now. Takes the deployment specialist, so extra deploys. He's not going into a heavy giant build. He skipped that for the Rhino Assault, which is dropping in the back corner. Noticing that there is no answer out here, and is likely to have to respond to all this. Arclight for Diddy on flank here is going to kind of pull a... well, the idea is that should pull some of the crawlers, but it'll take a while for that. I would have loved to see Baller add the mobile beacon to bring these guys down in. And here's that late Fang that we talked about, Squish. Put Fangs behind the towers. Fangs are never going to beat this Rhino, but they buy so much time before the Rhino gets the debuff that most of the rest of the fight is over, right? So now he gets the tower debuff, but so much of this engagement is over. The steel balls are gone, you know. Unfortunately, the tower timing does give Baller the win head-to-head against the Scorpion. That's going to let him win the round. Diddy on 4,900, Steelsane down to 3,000, but those Fangs did a lot of work in terms of saving Steelsane from a much worse loss. Round 4's top supply. You do the math on this. The top supply, taking top supply specialist puts you behind economically on rounds 4 and 5, puts you break even on round 6, and you're ahead on round 7 and after. The round 5 version, you only come out ahead on round 8 or after. So you have to be able to read how long a game is going to go to decide whether or not that's worth taking. The round 8 version, enough games are ending by round 7 that can be advantageous, and then basically anything longer than round 5, being behind for the next 2 rounds, is likely to cost you the game. You know, some players who will basically only consider it if they're on pristine health at that point. Even then, I think you skip it in order to just finish the game out, right? You don't need the economic advantage. If the other guy takes it, then you just crush him in the 2 rounds that he didn't. You've got the economic advantage. Taking it that late is greedy. It's a win more, not a necessary. This positioning on this Saber is really good. We're going to go back and look at the position for this Saber before the next round. Hello, Cardala. Welcome, welcome. We got to see the Weekend Tournament 67 Rookie Group Champion knock off Stoney in round 2. So it's been fun. And it's not a Smurf, it's a legit junior player working their way up. Yeah, look at this positioning. He's got this where, because of the funnel, right? It gets drawn to these guys, and then it's just advancing towards the tower, shooting whatever is on either side of it. Giving it the haste module as well, so it's going to kind of keep up with the attack, try to get there a little faster. Range enhancement could also help on this. Fight quicker, we're not going to tank with it, right? And Diddy's now adding ground spec wasps. Not afraid to tech them immediately. He's not going to wait while Steelsane counters them. They are a really good counter to Steel's line of Pledges and Scorpions. Of course, here you go. This is why you run that Fang back here. Fang back here, this wouldn't be a problem. Instead, Steelsane's going to get a quick tower. And, uh-oh, it's not so quick, because Baller has leveled that tower up. It's a level 2 tower. Read it coming. He gets his tower first on the main push. By the time this tower comes down, eesh, it's going to have... the whole battle is pretty much over. Our hasted Sabretooth was just heading off towards the right tower. But now with the tower debuff, Steel is able to turn it around. So, leveling up the tower changed it from a 9-second debuff to a 7-second debuff. And bought a lot of tower. Yes, right, Cardala? And Steelsane still won the round with it, right? Diddy takes the Overlord off the Overlord Vulcan Melting Point Rhino hack. He had selected that so quickly, I didn't even get the image to load in. I've got a fast PC, so that's pretty impressive. The man, when he plays with confidence, he does not play slow. Here it's going to be adding photon emission over the top of this whole pack of units. And Steelsane all but ignoring the wasps this round. I think the wasps were the key problem. Okay, so what he's going to do is slow down the front to try and get the wasps to run out in front and die to the fangs, while the Vulcans light the ground on fire. Ardala, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Beer Baron, thank you for the follow. I have seen you in this tourney. If you're still unbeaten, we'll take a look at where you're at. Yes. I had. I mean, this channel started a little less than a year ago on a laptop that is below the minimum spec to play Mechabellum, let alone play Mechabellum and stream it. And I was running all the streaming software on the laptop. So, we've gotten a long way. And I couldn't do it without you guys in chat. The gifts that you guys have given to make that happen has really made this happen. It's led to multiple offers to cast tournaments professionally now, which I appreciate. I'll be talking more about that when I have a deal finalized to announce. Well, Steelsane has one on the left. I have gotten a second offer since it is not finalized. So I may be jinxing it by mentioning it. But I'm very excited at it. Very excited about it. Alright, Diddy has taken the Acid Blast. As you can see, the Steelsane absorbed that early pressure, turned it around, won this last round with the Mustangs with range, now leveled up. And so he accepted and lost, used hit points as a resource for a little while. Actually, I can't yet, and I won't do that until until there's more information. So, when there's an announcement to make, I will make it well publicized. So Diddy has dropped oil, and what he's hoping for here is that the Steel's own Vulcan is going to light this oil on fire and torch all of the chaff. And then the acid is going to be doing work against the Scorpions. And you can kind of see it go there. Steel balls with range get locks. I love adding steel ball range on this push, and getting that early tower lock is one of the reasons. Also, if your opponent has gotten a good solid defense against you, changing up the order in which the single targets get to engage with the steel balls can be backbreaking, and you're seeing that on this round. We torched the back row, sped up the killing of all the single targets, and hammer Steelsane hard on round 7. Steelsane down to 1027. Baller still at 2200. Both players have the Rhino Assault coming, and I do appreciate Baller not giving the spoiler as to which way it went, since of course we're 90 seconds behind. We can kind of guess from the fact that he's here. He says, oh, it's not over. I was going to say we can kind of guess from the fact that he's here that it might be over, but he said... note that he did the range and replicate, I think, on the same turn, and that really changed order of engagements. Oh, it's true. We can see the join prediction button. That's the real spoiler. Yes, I've trained myself to not even look at it to avoid changing the cast. Beer Baron, thank you so much. Beer Baron, immediate follow, immediate sub with Prime. Thank you so much, my friend. Much appreciated. Obviously, subs get you out of watching ads. We do try. I mean, Mechabellum is really well suited. If you're not in a position to sub, don't worry about it, because you know, we get revenue from you watching the ads. It's fine. And Mechabellum is really well suited to having the ad break between rounds of the tournaments. Very perfect for that. With the photon emission overlords, Baller was winning this front right up until the back row gets, or the back door Rhino gets to the tower, because I forgot to shield the tower. Hadn't leveled that one up. This one, you can see, took most of the most of its health and damage. We get the reinforcement for round 8. Got Storms, Wraith, Fort, and Rhino. A tough choice. Both players spend a lot of time thinking about it. Late game, this decision becomes really important and really time-consuming. I kind of do wish that they would add a little bit of extra time, because I feel like it's such an important and strategic choice that, you know, sometimes personally I run out of time just in APM getting the rest of the stuff that I want done in the turn through. And you can see, like, Diddy's through and quick. He plays with a lot of confidence when he's, especially when he feels like he's, and it's everything he does is really quick. And here it's going to be 2 level 3 Whirlwind Rhinos with photon emission, and we've added missiles to missile out the front chaff, if there is any, and this. You guys don't know what this is for. This is to eat the missile. So if Steelsane read this correctly and put a missile down here to stop it, these guys would attract that missile, unless that missile were right on the line and right about here, where it'll hit the 2 Rhinos. Most other places you could put that missile at this crawler. There, CF Teague, there is something I want to say and can't about that, but I believe that problem will be fixed soon. I have reason to believe. Oof. The Rhinos get in, get tower. Super ranged steel balls over there. Getting the job done. It looks like it should go really well. Rhino almost gets to tower. We do get the tower. We're so close to getting the knockout. I see. Did he? If that one Overlord doesn't go down at the end, I mean, God, it's almost like any unit survives here. Any 25 more hit points would have done it. Steelsane down to 19 hit points going into round 10. Diddy at 1481, and now we get the lightning storm for both players. Steelsane kind of lucky he's got his oil up, so he can drop the oil right in front, and that's going to freeze a bunch of Diddy's units in the lightning storm and outside of the bubbles, which is unfortunate. Baller, assuming that this line is going to be cut off by something, is going to mobile beacon these guys over into the main fight, where he's hoping that the lightning storm will have cleared stuff up. Right. Baller is more vulnerable to this because he's got the wasps as well as the boats, and the wasps are now level 3 and 2, where Steelsane could protect against this with a whole bunch of shields. Ahem. 500. Come on. Throw down 5 shields, right? That's the play. That's gotta be the play. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least, yes. And this is just, he knows the lightning storm is up. He has to throw those down. If he doesn't throw them down here, then a mobile beacon Rhino gets in on it. If he doesn't throw them down here, then the main force wins it. And he did, I think he floated 100, having run very low on time there. But the oil in front actually gets lit on fire pretty quickly, so it's not going to slow down most of things. A lot of things are getting slowed into the burning. Like, they walk into the burning, they get hit by the lightning and slowed, even though they're not terribly damaged. And without the push on the right side loses with the flames and oil on the left. Baller's left side loses. Steelsane gets it done with 19 hit points on the board. And that is an epic for round 3. What a game. That was amazing, guys. Baller's aggro almost pays off this move unseen, you know, kind of unprotected. Just, I'm going to hit this side after leaving it uninterrupted for so long. Thank you for the follow, FX Reward. Much appreciated. Just brilliant. Love it. Whew. We saw Squish had beaten Cursed by not readying up. Galaxy Ends in Fire is through, and we are already into round 4. I need to pick a match. Doxun versus Skip, Apooche versus Steelsane, Reven versus Squish. Good luck, have fun, both of you. Oh goodness, Scey versus CrossFit, Galaxy Ends in Fire versus Coin. Also good. But I think the headline match here, gonna have to be Apooche and Steelsane. Welcome to round 4 of Weekend Tournament European number 68. We have the classic dog versus cat. 501 multi-time champion Apooche, near side and blue. 401 multiple-time champion Steelsane, far side and red. They've both won these tournaments, both the Americas, the European. Steelsane's won the Asia. I'm not sure if Apooche has. They've both won multiple times. Always an epic battle. Always going to be close. In recent weeks, Steelsane has had the edge, I believe. But that says nothing about a single match. Apooche, near side blue, a speed specialist with steel ball and arclight. And Steelsane, far side, marksman specialist with sledges and marksman. So marksman specialist with 3 extra marksmen. So 4 marksmen, one of them level 3, 2 sledges, takes the 2 crawlers really quickly. Apooche starts out. Now, we just saw Baller push Steel to the limit with a steel ball aggro push. But here we are again. Steel ball aggro push, same side even. With steel ball. Hello, Genetic. Welcome, welcome. Steel ball, crawler, Arclight. Yes, you did. We've had 3 really good ones so far. We had, even 4 so far. Pretty happy with all the ones we picked. We had Scey versus Mike Tyson. We had Squish, a rookie group champion, upset Stoney. We had Baller and Steelsane, where Steelsane survived with 19 hit points. We have followed Steel into round 4 against Apooche. Oh, if those steel balls get the level, that's big. But the whole pack went down too quickly. They're not actually going to get the level off of that. Orange band alone is not enough to level off of. Are going to get tower, come across, get the sledgehammers. We've still got steel balls alive, and head to head we know an Arclight beats a marksman, so Arclight behind steel balls, of course, gets the win. Apooche has 5,100 hit points. Steelsane dropped to 3,900. Go to round 2 now. This is a big difference between Baller's game and Apooche's game. Baller's game, neither pack of steel balls leveled. I called it out in round 1. His steel ball came really close to leveling. It was like 49 or 59 XP away. For Apooche, it's the other way around. Both packs barely level. So now he's got a pair of level 2 steel balls, a pair of crawlers to add to them. I like the way that he did this in particular, where he had crawler. The round 1 crawlers were here and here, so they came in through the initial fire and arrived. We kind of had 2 different waves of chaff, front and middle, rather than having all the chaff up front. That was different from the way that Baller did it. And he's added 2 more packs of crawlers right up on the front, and those are basically placed. If you look at the way they were placed, they were there to ensure that they drew shots from these marksmen for as long as possible. Now, Steelsane has added the outside sledge and some chaff in the middle, so this didn't get all the way in. That pack of steel balls didn't get all the way into tower, or didn't get all the way into Orange Man as quickly. It does get tower. I'm just going to let them get Orange Man again. Since they're already most of the way to leveling, you can see they jumped from a halfway to almost complete, and they will level to level 3 if he wants that. So this is taking advantage of the fact that there's Orange Man on the board to just farm experience into a critical unit. Now level 3, a bull, steel ball. Unit drops. Fire Badger favors the defender so much. Also getting 3 packs of them favors the defender so much. Way better when you're stuck in defense. You want more individual units. And part of that is giving away less XP. Part of that is covering more angles. And part of that is, having having the deploys, essentially, because you've got these 4 deploys that are kind of on the wrong side, right? So getting some of those deploys back on the side that you care about. And since you didn't get the Scorpion drop, we saw the Scorpion was his answer to Baller's steel balls. He puts it in much the same spot right here, so we're getting to really see how he plays defense. Did the same thing with this sledge, but instead of putting it horizontal the way he did against Baller, he puts it vertical. I think the vertical position sledge is better in defense. I'd actually love to hear from Steel why he put that one horizontal last match. It was the round that Baller was dropped the 2 crawlers out here, and if he had had this horizontal, he'd have had some tanks come this way and some tanks go that way, depending on where. For Apooche, the choice was the level 2 Typhoon. Level 2 Typhoon here, level 1 Typhoon there. And this is the aggro pack I'm looking for. A Typhoon, Steel Ball, and Crawler. That's gives you your chaff clear, your shield bubble, your single target damage, and your chaff proper. Really nicely set up for it. They'll want range on the steel balls soon. And in theory there, the reason this pack works so well together, right, is the Typhoon has a range of 100 meters and no way to increase range. You can't change the tech loadout. One of those unit to drop units. Look at this guy. This guy got his level. That's one of those unit drop units, right? Now, steel ball range is much shorter, of course. So if you just dropped a steel ball, you know, you can't get hold up for the reinforcement drop. Ion Blast, Photon Coating, Redeploy, and Fortified Overlord. Redeploy is so strong for an attacker, but Ion Beam, obviously, way that this attack is going and as packed as this formation is, yeah, you just throw an Ion Beam across the formation and call it good. In this case, Apooche's trying to make sure that he hits the Scorpion for as maximum. So he makes sure that the Ion Beam lands before the Scorpion, and it includes the Scorpion for the longest time. For Steelsane, it's going to be here. He knows how far a steel ball moves, and about the right angle to hit the pack. Personally, I might have had that start here instead of here, but like only be off of him by about 10 meters. And the angle looks right to me, although I see if this pack gets stuck in it there or not. You can always mess things up as well by dropping a chaff right there where you know, like, I want this Ion Beam to hit people. I just need to slow somebody down for a little bit and change the pack. Apooche drops crawlers over here. That's partly to ensure that units don't wander out of the... I don't know, actually. I wonder if that's actually going to make this Ion Beam worse. It does not. It did. Wait, did it move this? Yeah, it moved this guy. It made the Ion Beam so much worse in terms of how much it hit that Scorpion. Anyways. Interesting. I've done that to myself many a time. But he really pulled the Scorpion out of the Ion Beam there. Okay, so what I was going to say about Typhoons and Steel Balls. Steel Ball range is 45 meters, right? You give it the range enhancement, and the range is 85 meters. Typhoon has a 100 meter range, and a shield bubble that essentially does a 20 meter range around the Typhoon. So the steel balls will fight from the front edge of the Typhoon bubble. Really, really handy. Speed Specialist is a no-brainer for an attacker. You want to get in on tower earlier. It is worth way more than 100 in an attack position like this. Just always want your units engaged. You want them to spend minimal amount of time stuck in the smoke. You want them to spend minimal amount of time stuck in the oil. You want them to spend minimal amount of time not shooting. You want them to get to the tower as quickly as possible. Like, all of your stuff is... Note that he's already also added this crawler at the way back. We talked a little bit about how often does your chaff arrive, when does your chaff arrive. So this line of mid-chaff, he's got 3 of them. Really important for supporting an attack. If you don't have this line, you lose the attack as soon as your initial chaff is gone, all the single target engages with your attacking. You're also going to want a similar line back here. And we talked about flank screening. This pack of fangs is to do exactly that. Like, we remember Steelsane dropped a Phoenix flank. These fangs go and engage with that Phoenix, right? So that was defending against something that happened in Baller's game. In this case, he didn't guess the round right. He's not trying to. He's just trying to put Steel off of even do. Right? Leave my flanks alone, yo. We've got half of the Steel Ball Typhoon aggro build. We've got the shield barriers on the Typhoons. But this round, the Scorpions are busting through it and get the job done. So Steelsane was down to 2450 after 4 rounds. He stabilizes and does does 1800 to Apooche in a single round, bringing Apooche down to 3250. You get a reinforcement round with storms, melters, overlords, and forts. If you're attacking and you're not sure what to take, storms do work really well. You can kind of put them opposite the towers. Also, taking this guy for the photon emission and or mothership or chin gun can be really well. That's what Apooche's gone for. Takes the overlord. We saw Baller did the same thing, and the idea with that is, here we go. Got the range on the steel balls now. These guys are going to fight from within the barrier of the Typhoons. And as soon as the Scorpion, the Scorpion wastes a shot on bringing the barrier down, then it has to recharge, takes it 4.5 seconds to shoot the steel balls. And then in theory, it has to, at least for these vertical ones, it has to shoot again to take down the second barrier. So you get this whole, by the time it's actually shooting Typhoons, it's been forever. And we're adding another grouping of it on the outside. Typhoons to clear away the chaff. Steel balls to get the bigger units and the tower. Tower is level 2 on that side. We've added a mobile beacon for it, which she's going to use to just bring that whole group straight in on that tower. I don't want to get distracted into the middle. I don't want to get pulled across the board. From Steelsane's side, it's 2 different melters with electromagnetic barrage. So he's trying to deliver EMP onto a large group, but also that EMP is going to bring down, you can see it did it right here, it brought down shield barriers. So where I was talking about how long it takes the Scorpions alone to bring down the barriers, with the melting points with EMP barrage, it went down a lot. But ranged steel balls get both towers for Apooche, and a thump. From 2400, Steelsane is down to 574. 6 rounds in, Steelsane escaped on 19 hit points against Baller. Can he escape this one against Apooche? Do I recommend the use of the anti-missile devices? Yeah. I use them myself. I haven't really compared them to Mustang in terms of efficiency. I think Mustang efficiency is so dialed up that it's better to have Mustangs than devices. But in much the same way that you would use shields as a anti-damage, if somebody's relying on a ton of missiles, they're doing a zillion overlords, they've got Typhoon missile, they've got anti-missile. I don't even agree with that escape velocity. I think you can actually think of them as a 100-cost device that is similar to a shield generator. If you can get a missile interceptor to prevent 40,000 damage, it was worth it, even if it gets destroyed. Same as the shield was worth it, even if it got destroyed. Right? Big photon emission saves Apooche from having to buy photon emission off the overlords this round. So he does position another overlord to make sure that this is all covered when he does hit the button. Probably have a third one out here next round. Having seen how that round went, even though he has a tech on them, Steelsane was willing to fell out of one of the melters to try and get a change done. I mean, he knows that EMP isn't going to be as effective because of this thing, so maybe it makes sense. Build the level 2 for the 600. You can always buy back a level 1 later. But Apooche presses through, hits tower on the left, has cleaned up on the right, gets tower. And, I mean, again, the big differences in this between what happened for Baller and what happened for Apooche is Apooche got levels into both steel balls on round 1. That made such a huge difference, getting them up to level 2, then getting them up to level 3. And so he's just had these huge, by the end of the game, he's got a level 5 and a level 4 hitting from 100 meters out, protected by the shield barriers of Typhoons for as long as they can do. It just made a huge difference. Also getting the Typhoons, which Baller never got. Baller's, we talked about it during Baller's match, that Steel Ball came like, 50 XP short of leveling on. Makes a big difference. So Apooche through to what would be the quarterfinals. Coin says that was such a nervous win. Hey, beating Galaxy is impressive, man. That is not easy. Well done. For our top group, we had Doxun beating Skip. We saw Apooche beat Steelsane. Squish ekes it out against Reven. Flix beats Smooth Jazz. Scey beats CrossFit. And Coin beats the Galaxy Ends in Fire. That will leave 6 unbeaten. So our quarterfinal, we got 6 unbeaten, and then somebody will be in the spoiler role. Oh my, it's Squish against Doxun, Apooche versus Flix, Coin against Zweilicht. We're gonna take Squish and Doxun. Squish says, I'm losing the next one. Welcome to the quarterfinals, round 5 of a weekend tournament European number 68. Squish is on a Cinderella run end against Doxun. Doxun won both the European and the Americas on the same weekend, one of a select few that have managed to do so. Congratulations to them. To give a big shout out to my moderators. They do a tremendous amount of work for the channel. Zalex, Alpha Titan, Codafly, Ghosters Supreme, Decaf, Wolf Factory, Ocellatus Gaming. Thank you guys that much for all the things that you do for us. Makes focusing on the games, focusing on the cast ever so much easier to have you guys playing a lot of the things in the background. I appreciate how quickly you guys ban the bots that are always spamming people's channels with best viewers or whatever. Hope folk appreciate how diligent and quick you guys are. Okay. Doxun Farside gets a first time chat to say, let's go Squish from 64 Talon. Welcome 64 Talon. Doxun Farside, current badge is the runner-up from the Mini Tournament Americas, but a couple of weeks ago he was he won both of the European and Americas on the same tournament weekend. One of a very select group of players that has managed to do so. He'll be a speed specialist with a Tarantula Crawler start. Has added at least 1 marksman. The other piece, 1 marksman and 1 more crawler. We talked about this with Apooche's aggro with the steel balls. It's much the same, where Doxun has 3 different layers of crawler involved in this push to ensure that there's always a piece of chaff between the Tarantula single targets out there. Squish, near side, your rookie group champion from last week, trying to retain a gold badge by winning this week. Pro tip, he'll actually get to retain the gold badge. Loses. He's got that one for 2 weeks. But he's an aerial specialist, so he took a round 1 wasp. That all but guarantees him the round win, because the only thing that shoots up is 1 solitary marksman. Has got vertical storms in outside position from the towers, which storms obviously are great against tarantulas. Do plenty of damage. Tarantulas are big and slow, so storms don't tend to miss them as much. That's why storms are good against fields and giants as well. Fortunately for Squish, the wasps have been locked onto the tarantulas. That is going to let the marksman handle all the wasps one at a time. And Squish will go down to 4176. Doxun's still at 4300. We go to round 2. And 64 Talon, thank you so much for the follow. We've got a skip from Doxun. EMP, electromagnetic impact. There are some cute things you can do with this. In attack, in defense, it might be better to have the cash, and in fact, Squish will skip. But for example, chaff timing was important. Had some good single target damage dealers. You could do something like drop that thing here to ensure that some of the late half arrives later. Drop it on the steel balls, for example, if they're steel ball push. You could also buy a new pack of wands, let them coming this direction. It's not like Doxun hasn't seen this before. He takes the fangs behind tower. I'm going to get to experience firsthand what those are about, why we take those. He's also taken hit point, tower hit point, and a crawler up front. It's the fact that that little one comes back so many times that's valuable. Anyway, you can see what that pack of fangs did over here. This mobile beacon with a full pack of wasps gets to the tower, but there's only like 5 wasps left, and that's enough time for Doxun to win on the main front before the tower debuff goes down. So that's that 100 cost pack of fangs over there. Yeah, it didn't win that fight, but it did buy a whole lot of time. And over here, the other pack of fangs also cleans up at the end. So, Doxun 4,300 to squish down to 3,756. Rookie has 400 invested in Peaky Wasp plays, not panned out. And now is going to switch over to, presumably, Heavy Armor Vulcan. Did not unlock sell, so the play here is not selling a wasp in order to buy something else. It's going to be mobile beacon out here, waste some time on the crawlers, draw the fangs out to here, and same way, I think. The crawlers are new. They might be enough to actually turn the tide so that Doxun fangs win. Doxun has added a tarantula on that side, just in case there's pressure supporting the wasps. Now Doxun's got those flank fangs. Talked about that positioning. Right in. Knowing this positioning, having that position, it would have helped Squish to avoid this, which turns out to be pretty. On the other hand, Vulcan very good. As long as it doesn't get locked onto a tarantula. This is the problem, right? This tarantula's got 62,000 hit points. It's taken a level and heavy armor, and the untacked Vulcan just gets locked onto it, while tarantulas go to town. I do believe the tarantula is going to win now. So the Vulcan's got heavy armor itself. He's got friends. He's got two tarantulas and a marksman. He gets the tower debuff from the other side. Doxun wins round 3. We're down to 2746. Round 4, the unit reinforcement drop. Rhino, very valuable for oppressor. Attacking this way, there are going to be lines that are not undefended, right? So a Rhino mobile beacon through here could have gotten a tower. Rhino for Squish also, right? A Rhino up and around, or this way much. But Squish will take the sledges, puts them horizontal. I would have rather seen them vertical. Takes a second Vulcan, adds Scorching Fire to them. The reason I'd like to see them vertical is just what that'll do. More likely to get the Tarantula and Melt stuck on this. That way. Eventually, this guy's positioned basically to at Vulcan. Squish is Squish. Squish is a legit new player, rookie champion, up and coming. Yep, here you are. Squish QT. Account created this year, by the way. There's basically no life to the game. basically no life to the game since getting it a couple of weeks ago. Alright, Squish with the Scorching Flames Vulcans and the Stormcallers getting the defense successful right up until the far side tower goes down. It's the far side tower, and just as Squish was about to clean up, tower debuff units coming from left to right. Enough for Doxun to win. Squish is down to 1984. It is literally 1984 baller. Squish drops the smoke. Fair pickup. Doxun takes the... Oh no. Yeah, Squish put these two just close enough together that they're hittable by the electromagnetic impact, right? So yeah, you can get both in the same radius. A little bit rough. I would have put these two probably about the same. I don't think I would have been any further over. You don't want to give away like an instant lock off the flank to steal balls or something. You want to be able to put... In fact, you don't want to be able to put a calf unit here. Lock. I'd have probably had it left one even from where wishes. Possible that here and here could have worked to be far enough apart for this. Alright, Squish has sold out of this, because he's losing to the Fangs horribly. Didn't want to hemorrhage levels. That makes sense. Don't be giving away XP when you can put your money better somewhere else. He's taken a new Vulcan on the left. A bit unfortunate, because Doxun has taken a new Melter on the left. That Melter Tarantula combo is just going to be... Oh. On the other hand, a whole bunch of ground spec wasps. The Doctor ordered for Squish here. Gets through the big melting point. Still got tanks alive on the ground. Just Fangs and Melters trying to deal with all these wasps. Ground spec wasps even debuffed, they're not doing so hot. Now they get in on the... With the Storms taking... Or sorry, the Vulcans taking care of the Fang. Ground spec wasps getting the job done. Squish drops Doxun down under 3,000 hit points. It turns out not having AA hurts, says Carla. Indeed, indeed. And 2 of those 3 packs of wasps have leveled. Let's just take those levels, yes. And both players are taking the electromagnetic impact. For Squish, he's going to turn off techs, the highest leveled unit. Whatever your techs are, I'm going to turn those off. Now they are a ranged ground spec wasps. Two more packs of them. Packs are right here on the flank. Formation, I don't think I've ever seen this one. This is new player exploring the game. Hasn't settled on all of the meta positions. They're dodging this, I think, by putting them way out here. They're also going to handle a flank really quickly, right? They're just right here. You go ahead and try and flank me. It's going to go away in a heartbeat. And then they've got range. The answer to the ground spec wasps is the ranged Mustangs. There are 3 of them, 2 of them on the weak side, where they're going to go in and get tower, and then fight from left to right, so they're not stuck in this smoke. These guys are going to get stuck in the smoke. It's not going to go great for them, but... So... these outside ones go for tower, while the smaller group of higher leveled ones come after units. That turns out very clever. Gets the battle to happen during tower debuff. He drops Doxun from 2988 to 1188. One more round like that and Squish will win it. Of course, he had 2 call-ins to Doxun's 1 that round. And Woot says, I'm not a fan of taking Stangs here. I think Donuts would have been a lot stronger for Doxun. Because again, the ground spec wouldn't work against... it it works against the Mustangs, but it wouldn't have worked against the Walk. Wraith, it'd be really expensive for Squish to get all the way up to AA and the shield. The area of effect damage would have made a big difference. Doxun is committed to the Stangs, though. Now have anti-air, aerial specialization. Still got 2 deploys and 250. For Squish, he did all of his stuff. His stuff was double tech on the Sandworm. We've gone for armor enhancement and Sandstorm. So if he can get the Mustangs to lock onto these worms and the Melters in trouble. And look at this, Squish has leveled that left side tower up to level 4 and goes ahead and drops 1 missile on each of these front packs of crawlers. That's going to help keep the worms underground for a bit, right? The worms pop up. Of course, Melter locks onto it, steel balls lock onto it. Doxun did pick the steel balls, which do chew up the worms pretty quickly. So both worms are gone. They're not going to be doing their job of tanking the Mustangs particularly. But this outside tower has just taken up an age. And in fact, Squish gets the tower before that left side tower goes down. Gets in and engaged on the big Melter. Now it's just Wasps and a full health Vulcan level 2, scorching flames, chewing things up. It's not enough to win the game, but Squish gets 400 more hit points done. Doxun down to 788. The dog in chainmail in trouble against the rookie. Missile strike up. Senior defense specialist. Senior defense specialist giving 30% more hit points. Interesting choice. Especially if you're not taking this by habit for 300. Taking the card seems a little odd. Right? If you really wanted it, you just take it here. Don't need it off the card. Squish does have oil on tower. Does have enough money for it. Could drop it wherever you want it. This is the round Doxun's got 2 units coming. Reven, you have been calling it when players use oil today. Very nice. Electromagnetic impact, of course, is going to be hitting these two Vulcans again. I'd love to see shields up because we know this card is out there. We know this card is out there. This card obviously is going to be aimed at the Wasps. It will be coming down there. You could conceivably dodge. You've got a mobile beacon. Predict that this is coming after your best one. And mobile beacon them at even a slight jigger backwards would have gotten them out of this particular spot. Or doesn't do it, misses that little opportunity to have predicted what was coming. Loses most of that pack to level 4 Wasps. Did shield, perfectly shield the EMP drop. Well done. Bartolus says Squish has found the ultimate combo. He's playing Meta Vulcan plus Meta Worm Wasp at the same time. It is true. It's true. This time, however, the level 2 Melter survives for Doxun, along with a couple of Mustangs, brings Squish down to 1397. Doxun is just insisting on taking this left side tower. Doxun takes senior attack. Now, Squish took... So, senior attack makes more sense than this button, right? Because it's 30% attack versus the 24% attack. And Squish is literally in senior defense, senior attack, and still hasn't taken these two. So, like, okay, that's fine. In interesting, though. It's just interesting psychologically, right? It's a trend I noticed for myself. That is fascinating smoke for Squish. This smoke to handle the fight as units are coming from left to right at the end of the battle, rather than the start of the battle. This is amazing. I love it. We've got the electromagnetic impact coming for both players. It's going to hit the wasps. And this... Man, he's going to hit most of these barriers. I don't think you're... Yeah, there's nothing there. For Doxun. The full pack of wasps. Now, one more Vulcan in here. This is just... But yeah, this smoke is going to just disable this melter at the critical moment. I think, right? These guys have actually gotten that tower by throwing down the steel balls. So it's ranged energy absorption steel balls. They've all died on this side. But on the other side, they're all in and dying. They're all in smoke. This melter never does get to engage. The Vulcans have just completely disabled the tarantula spider mines. And yet again, we get this end of a round where that melter is stuck on wasps. This positioning that I questioned when he threw it down gets him to tower in a way I wasn't expecting. He's got 2 Vulcans left. Squish has knocked off multi-time champion Doxun. Betters his best ever MMR victory. Climbing might do both in a single tournament here. Well done, Squish. And this is... We've talked about how punishable it is to be this heavily on one side. And if Doxun gets... For example, if Doxun gets a storm, this whole board goes down, right? I mean, Squish has to buy energy shield, and even then half the packs of wasps go down. But he gets a little bit lucky. No big area of effect. Pieces drop. This smoke is really, really well played. And he's just a good player, an up-and-coming player, on the top of his gameplay and out of his gourd. Says he was so nervous all game long that Doxun would get a nuke or something. Exactly. Okay. We have the other survivors. Coin has upset Scey, so Coin on a great run as well. Apooche beats Flitz. That makes Apooche the prohibitive favorite of the final 3. Of course, what you're going to get is Coin against Doxun. Doxun in the spoiler role. If Doxun beats Coin, then this match coming up will be the final, and we will only have 6 rounds of tournament. If Coin wins against Doxun, then we will have a 7th round, and the winner of Apooche versus Squish will face Coin in a final. Okay. Welcome back to everybody. Welcome to round 6 of Weekend European number 68. Squish on that amazing run, facing a multi-time champion Apooche, the man, the myth, the legend. Squish near side blue, defending rookie group champion who has had a heck of a run this tournament. Has come through Stoney, came through Reven, came through Doxun to make it here. Doxun in the spoiler role is facing Coin in the other match. Coin wins, and then we will have a 7th and final round. If Doxun wins that, then Squish versus Apooche right here is the final. Squish, near side, a quick supply specialist with a sledgehammer and fang start, has hit the recommend me a formation and gets, this is, if you guys will recognize it, this is very much like Galaxy Ends in Fire start, based for the storms here and here. Apooche is an elite specialist. Going to get a level 2 arc light for chaff clear and a level 2 crawler to go with the ball crawler start that are all level 1s. Apooche, same side, no, opposite side from what he ran against Steelsane. We saw him run that attack against Steelsane from the opposite side. Apooche was attacking on his left side to there. So he's attacking on his right this time. Like many others, randomizes whether he does it in his head or uses an external device, you'd have to watch his channel. Again, this steel ball pressure with both steel balls the way that he does them, got one on either side of the tower, they really do clear straight to the tower. Way that gets him the tower pressure earlier and let him chew up a whole bunch of fangs and sledges with the crawlers are just having a field day. Note the breakpoint on crawler, 584 hit points for sledgehammer here. About that in a moment. We get to round 2. 900. Pushed down to 3,600 already. Got a fortified hacker, extended range fort, wasp swarm, and elite mustang available. Squish does not want ER fort. You don't want to give away the hit points. Gain range. Does take the card fortified hacker. Increase hacker hit point by 500%. Importantly, increase their attack by 35%. And doesn't... What he's going to do here, unlocks the hacker, uses his quick supply specialist, unlock the hacker, a fortified hacker. Take crawlers. So it's 2 crawlers and a hacker. We've got a crawler here, a crawler mid, and the hacker is kind of on that side. I'd have loved to see this hacker right about... Well, thank you, Squish. It's like he's... Except he can't be 20 seconds in the... I mean, he can be listening. Personally, I would find it very confusing to listen to somebody casting my game 90 seconds after I had made my decisions. What he's missing right now is that fang we talked about, where this user, this wasp is in behind. Hello, Mr. Dad. Welcome, welcome. Congrats on hitting triple digits. Getting out of the bottom 0 to 100 range. Yeah, the wasps having hit this tower, that has gone very poorly for Squish. What I was going to say about crawlers and sledges, crawlers have 584 hit points, the sledges do a 608 shot. So what that means is that the crawler player hit the defense hit point. They can change a level 2 crawler in 2 shot for a sledge. When Apooche does that, full pressure. Watch to see if that's where it goes. What's a high number MMR, and what number should I have to be considered a not terrible? So, the median MMR right now, you know that the player at 0 MMR, around 40,000th in the week, or in the list, the global list. 800 MMR is about 20,000th in the list. So if you can hit 800, you are median. Theoretically, the way that an ELO system works, average player should be 1,000. That is supported by, as Genetics says, the highest player is currently like 2,400 MMR. So you're averaging fewer people above 2,000 MMR, but there's nobody below 0 MMR, because that's the floor. So those few people are averaged against people below 1,000. There is a ladder list. Yes, I can't show it to you during tournament. We've had the unit drop. So Squish took level 3 badgers, sold out of this hacker. A level 3 badger and a level 1 badger. A fang outside. Draw these steel balls into a bad engagement. Apooche has added level 3 fire badgers also, and some crawlers all on the flank. Those crawlers, of course, are going to die to the fire badger. But, so, Mr. Dad, if you're on the multiplayer tab, top right, it should be a leaderboard item. Yeah. Yeah. I would put it more at the, getting above 800 is, I'm out of the beginner league. I understand the game enough to be winning games against people who don't, say the it took me a bit to break 1,000, so I would put that at kind of like a moderate level. And I'd say 1,300 and 1,700 are probably pretty good. Got good and for middle ground and got good. I mean, yes. I guess I have to do this. Not many people can put links in. Yeah, these big boy hackers are going to need some range, right? That's the one. Thank you, Genetic. Mechamonarch.com, I think. Yeah. Maintained by two of the top Finnish players, Rat and Monks. And I believe it is pretty well up to date. I know Rat is very active in his videos are really good. Okay. For the game in front of us, had these Fangs outside. They had a pretty good round against the Crawlers. They're going to have a much more time. These steel balls leveled off of the level 3 Fire Badgers. We're into 3 hackers, but the hackers still have... I think we're still trying to rely on their hit point total. Now we're getting some steel balls over here. And the defense is working. Now, a big part of why this defense is working is that hacking a unit changes the targeting on the hacker's units in a way that is beneficial. This particular round, anti-air has all been killed. Apooche at 4330. Squish has dropped to 2451. They do. They look like the War of the Worlds, don't they? I used to listen to that. Like, you guys commented on my voice, right? Like to comment. That was one of the things I learned on. Whole broadcast of the War of the Worlds. Had a tape of it as a kid. But over and over. OG. Calling Langham Field. Langham Field, over. Crosley, calling Langham Field. Langham Field, over. And like the silence that you get when it's like Langham Field has just been destroyed and all you're getting back on radio is static, you know. Horror, it was great. Just pure audio horror. It was amazing. You guys ever... You can never find that, just the OG radio broadcast of it. Something really amazing to listen to. Take you 90 minutes. So. What truly amazed me about that broadcast is the then listening to the... So there's a spot in it where there are two radio presenters who are describing, you know, they're the broadcast station hosts, and now New York is going down, and they're describing the enemy approaching, and they're like, there's no point, you know, we can see the traffic, there's no way we're going to make it out of here, so we're just going to live describe the oncoming death, and then eventually they go off the air, right? It's like, that's 100 meters away, it's 50 meters away, you know, And but you just heard this exceptional professionalism in their voices. You actually listened to the 1991 World Series on radio. The exact same thing happened. The guys were in the broadcast booth. All of a sudden, the earthquake from Santa Cruz hits, and they're still doing their pregame. The game hasn't even started. All of a sudden, they switched to that. I am a live radio presenter describing, hundreds, there are, the whole stadium is rocking. It looks like the crowd is doing a wave, but the crowd aren't here yet. You can actually see large cracks running along the superstructure. I suspect the building is going to collapse any moment, and they didn't leave. Right? They didn't leave. They just kept describing it as it happened. It's just amazing. So that's the part of where I learned my voice. Those of you that appreciate it. Back on the field in front of us, Squish has added a Vulcan with Scorching Flames on the left. Vulcan right out on this edge. Again, Squish likes to put it right up on the flank. We've talked about this. The backside. I would have left 2 squares for him for this unit, just to allow these guys to come in. That would get this hacker into range earlier. And it would also have helped with the ability to put some kind of chaff in front to protect this Vulcan. This Vulcan gets down to almost no hit points. Look at that. This guy got down to almost no hit points, but they turn it around. Now they are hacking Big Scorpion out there. Unfortunately, while that is all going on, Apooche has won the far right, and drops Squish to 126 hit points. Squish tried a wasp flank on this side. That did not pan out. These Fangs and Phoenix, again, getting the job done. Big lightning storm for Squish. He's got a whole bunch of units of Apooche's packed in the same spot. What else he's taking? He's going for triple wasp. The triple wasps are all out over here. Apooche is now running the survival Phoenix. So he can get up to 4 lives per Phoenix. 2 lives worth of energy shield and 2 more lives with assembly. Range and launcher overload. So these are high DPS, right? Instead of having a 3.1 second reload, they have a 1.6 second reload. They still do the full damage, 10,000 hit points. They've still got range at 135 meters. They outrange a normal Phoenix. They are shorter. They're not going to win a range war against marksman. The idea is if you got into that range war with the marksman, hey, maybe you die, but you reincarnate somewhere else. And it's why this worked against this flank. Now we've got the 3rd tech on them. Shield. For Squish, it's 3 ranged wasps out here. Took range so that they're engaging whatever they engage from further away. Didn't take aerial specialization. Aerial specialization would help against the Phoenix because they have so many hit points. Bad Businessman comments that he thinks Scorpions would have been a good Badger counter. Scorpions are a solid Badger counter. That's what Apooche has chosen. This guy's gotten up to level 3. Both sides dropped the storms. For Squish, he could have protected against that with Hacker Bubble and chose not to. An interesting choice when you've only got 120 hit points left. Neither player did much in the way of shielding. For Squish, the defense has succeeded over here. The Hacker does not hack the level 3 Scorpion. That would have been huge. But he's getting in on tower here. Gets through the shielded Phoenix. These don't revive yet, but there's 300, 400, 500 hit points left. Apooche has beaten Squish. He says, I'm not even going to lie, I didn't even think of Hacker Bubble. This was like my 2nd game of Hacker in my entire life. Okay, it's fair. It's actually a really good thought, and it worked for you in several middle rounds, right? And the reasons it works, for example, is you hack this crawler, the other crawlers start aggroing on this crawler instead of your units. Meanwhile, the Fire Badgers are focused on the Vulcan instead of the crawlers, right? Two key things to know about the hacker battle. I mean, barrier to protect against spells can be huge because it's 20,000 hit points per level, so it's stronger than Typhoon's barrier and a little bit better than half the strength of a Fort's barrier, or cheaper, right? Because you can slam down hackers much quicker than you can slam down Forts. And then the other thing is enhanced control. So when he was running the steel balls in the mid part of that game, he was running steel balls into you. There were some points where you'd lock on, somebody would be heavily damaging the steel ball, your hacker is hacking the steel ball, and you get it back with like 10% of its health, and then somebody on his side just one taps it. You have enhanced control, you get it back up to full health as soon as you finish hacking it. So that would have made a difference at that point of the game. I don't think it was going to make a difference in the end game, because by then he had sold out of the steel balls. Wasn't going to run steel balls into the hackers anymore. But it might have. It might have changed the timings on Fire Badgers. It might have allowed you to, like, if you'd gotten this Scorpion, healing it all the way back up to 67,000 hit points would have been amazing. Still, you made a tremendous run. Yeah, the Wasps were on the verge of a breakout, and you shut down, because of where you put them, you actually shut down this flank that he was counting on as the knockout. Right, he goes for the level 2 crawler flank, and he's like, this is going to end it. But you were also really vulnerable to, he's still got oil on tower, so he could have just dropped oil here, and this whole front falls apart again. Right, like, so if he drops oil across your front and picks up one set of steel balls, the steel balls lock onto the Vulcans. But it's a very good game, really well played, and an amazing run, sir. Really, really well done. As it turns out, Doxun has beaten Coin. This makes Apooche our Tournament 68 champion. This tournament is over. Here's our final standings. Apooche, your champion. Congratulations, Apooche. Well done, my friend. Apooche and I were teammates on Team Melter, which won the first Triple Threat Tricksters tournament. That tournament registration is open for Season 2. It will be open through the 31st. Coin comes runner-up, CrossFit 3rd, Doxun 4th, Squish comes 5th, earning a badge. Rookie champion last week, 5th place in the top division. Welcome to the big leagues, sir. Ahead of Scey, ahead of Flix, ahead of HD Susauer. Those are some impressive names to have beneath you on the table. Too Smart and LMCV rounding out top 10. Our 11th through 20th, you've got D-Unit, Skip, Odyssey, Cortex, Larian, Jacko, Mamaro, Sugar Shane and Harry, Smooth Jazz, and 123. Congratulations, guys, on having really good runs. We'll take you all the way down to 40th and put people's names in lights, but fairly call them all out. Anybody below that will save the blushes. We like to catch the people that have had, perhaps their best ever run might have been to get to 3. We like to show them off. Congrats to all of you folks. We'll check in on the rookie group. Rookie group went to Stressman this week. Congratulations, Stressman, with DJ Dryco and Peyton finishing out the top 3. We will be back. Actually, we stay here all the way through this tournament. We'll be here all the way to the end of it. This tournament can run up to 3 hours, so it starts in about 3 hours 15 minutes. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern if you're in America.